Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do an updated character guide on Papalymo, and actually I don't know that I have any character guides on Papalymo, so this might be my actual first one on him. But we're going to talk about him. It's kind of exciting because he is a kind of surprise character that came out. The first ever JP Global simultaneous release character. If you're not familiar with Papalymo, he's basically a magic damage dealer, and he has two stances. He has a fire stance and he has an ice stance. We're going to talk about the differences between those stances, but he's pretty much a damage dealer. The big thing with him is his new BT is really loaded with a lot in it. So I think if you are serious about Papalymo, you kind of need to go in on the BT, right? So I actually don't have his BT yet. I'm debating on whether I'm going to token it or not, but we'll definitely explain it and talk about it, and we'll see what his damage looks like. I'll still have him decked out with an Ultima weapon and everything, so we're going to see some good numbers out of him, right? So in this video, we're going to look at his calls, his artifacts, and his spheres, right? So his calls really not really worth it. They're just like, they're very just selfish buffs, right? So the 15 here, it's just a self attack and max brave up. And then the LD is a brave damage, HP damage, and overflow stolen up, but it's just to the self. So the buffs are good, but when you're using a call, you kind of want to get party buffs, right? So like if I'm going for that HP damage up, I would really like to get on the party. And his calls don't really do any other type of utility, right? So I wouldn't worry about his calls at all, right? So let's look at our boy here, Papalymo. Let's look at the artifacts. Papalymo's very old school, so we just want attack max brave. He does have a little bit of brave gain on eye brave in his kit, but I don't know that I would do like eye brave here. I'll just do attack max brave. You want to go for the big damage, right? And then on the spheres, I think you have a lot of options. He's a triple A slot, right? So like, you're definitely going attack spheres here. Papalymo's kind of flexible in that, like, you could go attack, you could go magic attack, you could go brave damage. I think any of those are really good things to get. I think max brave is good as long as you're pairing it with like a brave damage or an attack or something like that, or a magic attack. I think it's fine. I think Aerith is a pretty notable one here. Now, all of mine are just like the weaker refined ones. They're not like the maxed out ones. If I get really serious and like really like Papalymo, I'll make like good versions of these. But Aerith, I think if you have the full version, I believe this is a 15% magic attack up. It's pretty big, right? It's either 10 or 15. But Aerith is a really strong magic attack up you can do. I think Papalymo's own is a very good magic attack up you could use if you're going magic attack route. But like Papalymo's also got weakness damage. So like 7 here is a good weakness damage sphere. Once again, A slot is one of the most flexible ones out there because there's so many options. So as long as look at what your A slots look like, as long as you're hitting magic attack, or brave damage, those are the 3 ones I would look at the most. And then if you get those paired with other stats, I think that's definitely fine, right? So if you want to get one paired with, say, eye brave or max brave, I think you're good, but you want to make sure you're focusing on attack, magic attack, brave damage. And with that, so one thing I want to point out here is how loaded Papalymo's BT is, right? So when you go like on the left here, you can see the character stats, right? But you can click this other one called traits, and this shows all the skills that they have. And look at all of the skills I'm missing that come from the BT, right? So it's literally half of Papalymo's kit is in the BT. So I don't get this enchant all, I don't get the disable, I don't get the brave heal, I don't get the ignore defense, I don't get the gold frame debuff. So I'm losing all of that from the BT. Now, part of the reason Papalymo's BT has so many effects in it is because Papalymo actually has 2 different BT effects, so it's kind of split between 2 effects. So we'll kind of talk about it. He's kind of unique that way, right? So with that, let's go ahead. Let's hop into the showcase. We're actually going to hop into the Fusoya Lost Chapter Shinryu. I think this fight should be fine. We're going to bring in Aerith, and we're going to bring in Fujin, and Fujin might become a staple for showcases now just because Fujin helps enable so much damage. And I kind of want to see what Papalymo can do with Aerith and Fujin around. So let's get into it, see what we can do here. Once again, this is without the BT, but we'll definitely talk about it. And actually, what do I want to bring for a friend unit here? I guess maybe just an extra Aerith. That's fine. Sure, we'll just bring an extra Aerith. Let's just talk about the BT right away. Since I don't have it, I don't want to forget to talk about it. So the thing I mentioned with Papalymo is Papalymo has a fire mode and an ice mode. And based on which mode you're in, you're actually going to get a different BT. So you've got the fire mode or you've got the ice mode. What you're going to get no matter what with the BT is you're going to get a gold frame debuff, which is really loaded. It's called the Far Edge of Fate. This is going to do an HP damage taken up 20% to the enemies. It's going to make it so the enemies can't act, so it's like a paralyze. And then it makes it so HP attacks deal 10% additional HP damage. And I believe this scales like Vice, so it's going to get really big in a force time. So essentially think of Papalymo's BT as having the Vice HP mechanic, which is actually really good, right? So at no point am I going to say Papalymo's bad. Papalymo's actually very good. It's just that you want to have the BT, and if you have the BT and everything, I think Papalymo is a fantastic character. When I did my should you poll, it's basically like, do you need Papalymo? Is Papalymo meta defining? And I don't think he is, but he's fantastic if you have the BT. There's a lot loaded in there, right? So then, if you're in fire mode specifically, your attacks ignore defense, and then each brave hit gets additional brave hits. I believe this is similar to Prish. I could be wrong on that, and then it's going to fire enchant. Now, if you're in ice mode, you get brave gains on brave hits and brave regen instead, and then you're going to ice enchant, right? So basically, if your BT is in ice mode, you're doing more brave gain setup. If you're in fire mode, you're ignoring defense and you're focusing more on brave hits. So it's nice because Papalymo's flexible because you can work with your party comp. If your party comp's doing a lot of brave hits, you might want to go fire mode. If your party is doing a lot of, you want more brave gaining and maybe it's less brave hits, then you would want to go that route. The other thing I think that is significant about Papalymo is normally having multiple elements as a detriment because there's more chances to get locked out. Well, Papalymo's nice because if one of his elements is locked out, you can just stay to one element and he's still usable. Whereas most characters with multi-element, it's kind of spread throughout the whole kit and you can't avoid using multiple elements. Papalymo is very separated in the elements, which I actually think is a good thing, right? So Papalymo will begin with a free turn and a free skill use. This allows you to choose what mode you want to be in, okay? The other thing you're going to notice is he has an overhead. It's that little purple diamond, and that these are the polyglot stacks. And what happens is you have certain effects. Mainly, I think it's the EX and the LD that will give you these polyglot stacks. And it maxes at 2 stacks and it just increases his attack. But you can consume polyglot stats to use very impressive HP plus attacks. The other thing that's unique about Papalymo, and Papalymo works, I think, very well in the Force 50 era, is he does a lot of free instant turn stuff. So you can actually do a lot of turn spam. Because the HP pluses are going to have free instant turns, the EX is going to have free instant turn, the LD is going to have free instant turn. So he can actually spam off a lot of attacks. So anyways, let's get into it. So let's start with Umbral Ice. Umbral Ice is single target. So here's the other thing you want to think of. Ice is single target, fire is AoE. So then based on the fight, you can do it. So let's start with an Umbral Ice, single target. So now we're in ice mode here. And yeah, 2.3 million. Like, so without any BT effects, nothing like that. We're just spitting out 2.3 million. That's very good for just a button press, right? So if you, and just so you guys know, when you use an ice or a fire attack, it'll remove everything that the other one put on. So when we use Umbral Ice, it'll remove any astral fire buffs. It's going to be a 12 HP dumps on Umbral Ice, which is kind of crazy for just a 35. He's going to give himself the Umbral Ice buff and then a magic attack up. And then it does imperil the both elements. So that's nice that even though you're in one mode, you're always imperiling the both elements. So it will be a fire, ice, imperil on the enemies. Now the Umbral Ice buff, if we go down here, let me just see 1 second. Oh, so yeah, Astral Fire and, okay, yeah. Umbral Ice, they're active. Yeah. Sorry, there's a lot going on here. So here we go. Umbral Ice, Max Brave Up, I Brave Up, and Brave Regen, and then it's an Ice Enchant. So the Ice mode has always been known as kind of like the Brave Gain mode, and you're going to get the Brave Regen from that, right? So that's what Umbral Ice does. So then what happens is you have the EX, and the EX comes up very quickly. So they make it so you get the free turn to choose your mode, and then you get an EX right away. Now the EX is slow charging, but the EX is instant turn rate. So the EX also has 2 modes, Ice and Fire. So the big unique thing about Papalymo is you get 2 different EXs and 2 different BTs. So let's start with the Blizzard EX and do that one. And this is free instant turn. So you can see Papalymo just spamming off some turns. 2.6 mil. Very good damage, right? With no BT effects, nothing going on, right? So this one is a single target 12 HP dump with Brave Gains in between. And then free turn and extends the buffs. And you get a Polyglot stack, right? So now you see how this combos off. I go into EX, I get a Polyglot stat. So now that I have the Polyglot up, you see now my HP and Brave attacks are Xenoglossy and Foul. So these kind of act similarly where they are either single target or they're AoE focused, right? So let's go ahead and hit Xenoglossy first. Okay, so that's the single target one. And you see 2.2 mil. So like every single target button we've pressed has been almost 2.5 mil without any BT effects. Now mine is full crystal room, all that stuff, but that's pretty good damage for like no force effect, nothing like that. I'll definitely take that, right? So we've done a bunch in ice mode. Let's hit the LD too, because it's free instant turn. We'll do this too. We can get like Papalymo's whole kit here because of all the instant turn that he's got, right? Okay, so we can pop that off. 3 mil on the LD. Very good, right? So let's talk about the LD. So the LD, in the LD it's kind of unique. It puts him in fire mode. So now we're in fire mode. So it removes Umbral Ice. Brave Gains does fire damage. So this is exclusively fire. And then we get the Astro Fire buff. We get an Eno Chain buff. And we get a Polyglot stack. So now we can do Polyglot stuff again, right? So let's talk about the Umbral Fire, or the Astro Fire. So it's an attack up, max brave up, and a fire enchant. Pretty standard, but now we're in fire mode, and now we got our Polyglot stacks up again. So now we can do Foul. So now Foul is going to be the AoE version. Once again, free instant turn. All right, and the 1.3 mil AoE, and that's kind of what I'm noticing with Papalymo, right? AoE stuff is about 1.3 to 1.5 mil, but it's AoE, it's spread. So 3 target fight, that's a ton of damage. And then single target, 2.3, 2.5 mil. These are very good numbers. Now the thing with Papalymo, they're not like insane Astos level numbers, but they're just very, very good attack numbers. So you can see without the BT though, he's just damage, and it's very good damage, but it's very replaceable damage, right? Like a lot of damage dealers can kind of do what Papalymo's doing, but it's the BT, all that stuff I mentioned earlier, that really makes him special, right? Oh, and the other thing I didn't even mention with the BT is that you get the normal BT buffs, right? So you get the Brave Gains, Brave damage up, Brave damage limit, HP damage up, HP damage limit up, but the Brave Gains is an extra one as well, and then you get those extra effects. So with that gold frame debuff and like all the stuff you're getting from the BT, that's where Papalymo really becomes loaded, right? So now we got another turn again. So sure, let's see Astral Fire. Now this is the AoE one. And there you can see it's about a mil AoE, 1.3 to a mil AoE. Solid damage, right, for that AoE. So that removes Umbral Ice, 6 dumps on that. We get the Astral Fire buff, which we already talked about, and then it imperils to both elements. So the base kit is actually very simple. It's like you base it off of, do you want a certain element, or do you want single target or AoE, right? So if you want single target, stay in ice mode. If you want AoE, stay in fire mode. Very simple, right? So now let's give our other characters a turn here. So we'll do the Aerith setup. Aerith getting Force 50 here is so huge, by the way. That was a very nice surprise to see that we got that Force 50 for Aerith. That was very cool. And then even though, you know, Fujin maybe normally would be the FR I'd want to use, we'll use Papalymo's FR because we definitely want to show that off. And we've seen pretty much all the skills. So what I think we'll do is we can just maybe ramp up. Beat these guys to the Force, no problem. We'll take another ramp here. Very good. And then we'll just pass turn to Fujin, and we'll kind of get rolling from there. So we'll Seal Evil. Oh, I probably should put Raijin down. I'm pretty sure these guys can do some like aggressive attacks. So I don't want to end up dying here. What do we got? What do you have on? Yep, you've got Raijin. Perfect. We'll throw Raijin down. Kind of fitting that Fujin would have Raijin. One thing I do want to mention, I put the call on Papalymo just so I would remember, but it's only going to work if you have like a BT with Papalymo. But I think Enacro call is very good on Papalymo because remember, Papalymo's EX is instant turn. So if you get in a situation where you can spam EXs, like you could get like a lot of instant turn out of that. So if you had, I guess during a BT doesn't matter because he's going to have instant turn, but it's like you can refresh and keep using it, which is nice because it's good damage. But I would say outside of a burst phase, if you say have like a Bahamut summon, you could spam some Papalymo EXs, and that could be really nice. And you're going to get polyglot stacks. So what you could do is if you get in a situation where you have either a character that's an EX charger or like a summon that can charge your EX, something like that, you can see that we can spam EX, get instant turn, get polyglot, then do an HP plus, then do another EX, then get more polyglot. Like you can just spam off turns with Papalymo. And this is why I said it's very fitting that he's for Force 50, because Force 50 now is a time where character spamming works a little bit better because you get that retain at the end. And if you have better damage dealers than Papalymo, you don't have to feel bad that you're spamming turns with Papalymo because it's still very good damage and you're helping to get a good retain at the end because he's Force 50, right? All right, what do we want to do with you? I guess I think we actually just want to get the BT effect up. So we're just going to get Fujin's BT effect rolling. There we go. A little bit of pushback there. We'll take that. All right, and now we're going to see some more damage. Now, once again, the damage is going to vary depending on how many characters are participating in the launch. And we are going to go ahead here and we are going to hop in to a Papalymo Force time. So you can see I did bring Enacro just for that. Oh, I didn't organize the skills though. So sure, let's hit the Force. And pairing up with Vivi. Let's see what the damage looks like here. Now we've got full BT effects other than Papalymo, right? So yeah, about 2.5 mil AoE, we take that. All right, perfect. So now let's talk about the Force now that we have that going, right? So AoE attack, free instant turn. Once again, another attack with a free instant turn. So the HP damage conditions are pretty easy. If you do magic damage, it's 40%. And then if you do weakness damage, it's another 40%. So it's a very easy 80% because elemental weakness damage you're going to get because he's going to be, well, if you have the BT, right, he's going to be enchanting and then also imperiling, so you're going to get it. But if you bring other elemental characters, they're usually going to be imperiling their own element anyways. So then you're going to be getting that. And so then if you're doing magic damage, you're good. So Fujin won't be doing the magic damage part, but like Aerith will get the full effect of it, right? So yeah, that'll be just fine. So let's go ahead and just start doing some attacks here. So we've got another, so the thing too here is I could just free Echo, right? Because it's instant turn. So sure, let's just Echo again for free. We can go back to back here. See what kind of damage we get here. Now we're at 127%. And maybe one of these times I'll actually show you the Brave Retain. I think in my last couple of videos, I'm like, oh yeah, we'll see the Brave Retain. And then I always like end the video before I get to it. So we'll see. Maybe this time we'll actually see Brave Retain, right? So yeah, now I've got a lot of options, right? I've got one Polyglot stack. I've got an EX. I've got a lot of options here. The one thing I'm going to say is if your Polyglots are at 2, don't use the EX or the LD because then you're wasting, because it maxes at 2 stacks. So you want to make sure you hit an HP plus so that you at least consume a stack because it's free turn, right? So here, let's try a single target. So let's do a Xenoglossy here. Let's see what single target looks like. So yeah, just big damage with the floor. So yeah, we did like 8 mil there, and that was without other characters in the launch. We got a very easy 87%, right? Now I can hit the EX, and we're in fire mode right now. So this will be like AoE. Okay, and so yeah, dude, 8 mil AoE, we'll definitely take that. And now we got another Polyglot, so now I can spam again. So now we can try Foul, and we can do AoE. Very fun times over here with Papalymo just spamming off some big damage, right? All right, so now we got a free instant turn, so now I could switch and say, yeah, let's go into ice mode, sure. And I guess for fun, I could have put Enacro Call on just to see if I could maybe hit some lucky EXs, which can definitely make a big difference with him. All right, so now we got to do some big time ramping here to get us like near max. And I promise y'all, we're going to see some retain on this one, some force retain. I don't know that I'm going to do a force 50 guide. I was planning to do it, but now I feel like it's been out long enough. Like players know how it works. There's not really a point to it. So it's pretty basic. It's just one of those things. It just was bad timing, like going through the move and everything and then not having internet. Just could not get stuff recorded. All right. All right, so you see Aerith getting kind of the standard 80% there, which is fine. But now we got the friend Aerith. Let's do it some more. By the way, I am going to be getting this Aerith costume, but I'm not going to buy the costume pack. I'm going to wait for the token pack and get the 2 tokens and use one of my 2 tokens on that. Unless I can think of like 2 other costumes I want that I could just buy the Aerith one, but I think I'm okay just buying the token pack and buying it there. All right, so we're going to Echo City here, and yeah, we're going to be pretty much at max gauge. We do have a summon to you, so I probably am going to use that. I think I am. So I'm actually going to, well, we got to do the BT effect first, because I can't do that during a summon. So we'll do this, and then I'm going to hit summon so that we can actually do like full launching, and then at full gauge, we can see like what is Papalymo putting up, and we can just use like as a comparison with Aranea, I was doing like 70 mil launches, right? Now, Aranea works a little bit better with Fujin because it counts as an extra character participating, but we'll see, like, how does Papalymo maybe compare to, like, an Aranea, right? Should be good here, yep. All right, so, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's hit that summon. We got another Echo to use, and I think, you know, right now it's kind of pointless to Echo, but I'm going to do it just to have more turns in Force. So let's hit that Echo. By the way, can't wait for my boy Shadow to get his upgrades. All right, so what do we got here? And we can compare directly to like what Fujin does here. So 30 million. So that's what Fujin got. 30 mil with 15 on the side. Very good. All right, let's see what Papalymo can do. So let's pop off some turns. So Papalymo's got one Polyglot stack. So what I'm going to do is I want to see the AoE and the single target. So let's start with Foul. What is Foul going to do here? So Foul on the AoE. Okay, 31 mil with 17. So a little bit better than Fujin. So kind of in that range. And that's on the AoE, right? Now we can pop LD. We'll get another Polyglot stack. And then we can see Xenoglossy. And by the way, while we're doing this, we're working our way up to another EX to get us more free turns, right? So you can definitely do some shenanigans here with my boy Big Papa. So, okay, 65 million. So that's like right up there with Aranea, right? We did 65 million on that one, on the LD. What do we got for, let's do Xenoglossy single target. What do we got on this one? Once again, using Aranea as a comparison. About 50 mil. Okay, we'll take that. So the LD was definitely the hard-hitting button there. Let's try, I'm kind of curious just to try a straight-up Umbral Ice single target. Let's see what this does. Once again, still at max gauge. Okay, and 57 million. So, I mean, yeah, they're like, they're good damage dealer numbers, right? The thing is here, well, let's do an FR. Let's really spread this out. Do another Echo here. And the retain may be different. Here's the thing we're going to have to look out for now, right? We talked about GIMP selfies in the past. Well, now we're going to have GIMP Eris on the friends list. I guarantee we're going to. We're going to have a lot of Force 30 Eris and people that maybe didn't realize or haven't done Force 50. Because now with Aerith as the friend unit, the retain is going to be based off of the friend Aerith, not mine. So if this Aerith is not Force 50, we're not going to get the good retain. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and do a Seal Evil, I suppose. And wait, are we just beating this fight? Are we missing retain again? Are we not going to get the retain? Are we just beating this fight? I mean, I'm going to go for it here. Let's see. Are we going to actually see retain? Oh, I think we might. Just barely. Okay. There you go, guys. Our first Brave retain I've actually shown on the channel. So look, we come out at 450%. So that's very good. So I'm thinking that that Aerith is a Force 50. Yeah, this is very, very nice retain. And so now we just keep fighting, and we've got 450% just chilling there. So now we're still doing good damage. And sure, let's, well, actually, I got these free turns, right? Let's do Xenoglossy. We're single target mode now, right? So let's blast them up. And at 450%, we're out of here. So there we go. And there, I guess that's my Shinryu clear also. I don't have to put out another video on that. But I think I am, because I want to show off Layla. I want to do this fight with Layla in it. This could be a good showcase fight, though. I think this fight didn't really mess with me or do anything crazy, right? Not too bad. So anyways, guys, there you go. As a bonus, we've got the new Shinryu clear. And we've got a nice character guide. So once again, Papalymo's good. His damage, though, what I would say is once again, if you're not going BT, he's just another damage dealer like an Aranea, right? Like a Sephiroth. Like, you've got these characters already. So unless you're a newer player and you don't have a damage dealer, you definitely don't need them. But if you like the utility of all that BT stuff, like, he is very cool with the BT. Like, I think that's where you see the real power of Papalymo. If I do get his BT down the road, I will maybe do another showcase on him so we can see that a little bit. But let me know what you think of this guy. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.